Wave your hand, wave your hand, wave your hand from the Caribbean. Wave your hand, wave your hand, wave your hand from your number one. From me ready for the competition. You not take intimidation.
Yeah, the biggest party in sport. Yeah, we're bowling off, new ball in hand, and we're bowling off this edition of the SportsMax Zone with cricket. The Trinbago Knight Riders defeated defending champions, the Ghana Amazon Warriors, by 5 wickets in the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League CPL on Wednesday night in what was a tantalizing clash between bat and ball. Here's Gerard Morris-Seeley with the recap.
Rivals Ghana Amazon Warriors came to town for what was a repeat of last season's final. The Trinbago Knight Riders won the toss and elected to field in front of an expectant crowd at the Queen's Park Oval. A fitting fixture and atmosphere to potentially end the CPL career of the retiring Dwayne Bravo. TKR's spinners were on top of the Amazon Warriors from the outset, holding the visitors to a measured start, restricting them to 42 for 2 at the end of the power play.
Brilliant work from Nicky P, and that's why he was celebrating immediately.
That start would soon turn to disaster, with the Warriors losing their next 5 wickets for 34 runs as Waqar Salam Keel and Sunil Narain continued to wreak havoc, leaving the defending champions at 76 for 7 at the end of 12. In walked the returning Romario Shephard to spark his team's innings to life.
This is an engine room for the Amazon Warriors, Romario Shephard.
The all-rounder smashed 4 maximums and 3 fours on his way to an unbeaten 51 as he teamed up with Dwayne Pretorius to construct an unbroken 48-ball, 72-run 8th wicket stand, propelling the Warriors to 148 for 7. Chasing 149 runs for victory at a required rate of 7.5 and over, the Knight Riders flew out of the blocks, smashing 12 runs from the opening over with Narain on the charge. But with measly bowling and regular wickets in the middle overs, the Amazon Warriors managed to pull things back, mounting both pressure and the required run rate, which had ballooned to 12.5 at the end of the 16th over.
Impact in line, wickets hitting.
It took another returning all-rounder to turn the tide. This time, it was player of the match, Andre Russell, who smashed 3 sixes off Nathan Souttar's 17th over to bring the equation back within TKR's reach.
0-6-6 for Dre Russ.
Before Tim David finished things off with 2 sixes of his own, as the home side got home at 149 for 5 with 4 deliveries to spare.
I don't really like to pinpoint things too much with the toss, but yeah, it's always great to chase here in the Oval. But yeah, I must commend the guys for the fight that they shown there. We obviously set ourselves a few runs too short there with the bat, but again, you got to commend the fellas for the fight that they showed there to take the game all the way down to the last over. And just fighting all the way to the end was great to see.
I think it was a fantastic game. Obviously, the pitch wasn't conducive to stroke play. It was a game that you played in sort of, thirds, whereas the power play was decent for both teams. And then in the middle overs, we lost a couple of wickets. Guyana lost 5 wickets, we lost 4. And then in the back end, obviously with power as well, both teams, doing well in the back end. So again, it's something that we need to look at, going forward, for tomorrow, because obviously it's just less than 24 hours turnaround.
The victory sees the Knight Riders moving to 8 points, leapfrogging St. Lucia Kings into second on the standings on net run rate, with the Warriors in 4th on 6 points.
Yeah, so much to feast on in that game last night between the defending champions Ghana Amazon Warriors and the Trinbago Knight Riders. The Trinbago Knight Riders are coming away with the win on the back of a stunning performance from Andre Russell. But I guess we've seen that so many times over the years that it doesn't come as a massive surprise. But Mariah, a lot of individuals were left a little bit confused last night when they saw a farewell celebration for DJ Bravo, because of course it was announced before the start of the tournament that he would be retiring at the end of the CPL. But this was just match number 1 of the home leg for the Trinbago Knight Riders, and a lot of individuals wondering what is going on here. Why is he retiring in the middle of the tournament as opposed to going all the way to the end? But it might not have been his last match last night.
No, because I heard the commentators, and I watched all of this because it was so good for me, so exciting. I heard the commentators saying that the reason the celebration was done at the Queen's Park Oval is because, Dwayne Bravo is a member of the Queen's Park Cricket Club. He would have played his cricket there as a youngster. It has a lot of sentimental value when you think about it. So that's what I went away thinking, not knowing that in the post-match interviews it appeared as if that was it for him, but I expect to see him again.
All right, well, let's see what Nikhil Uttamchandani expects. He joins us live now. Nikhil, were you as surprised and a little bit confused as so many of us were last night when we saw the farewell celebrations for Dwayne Bravo? And what can you tell us in terms of what really went down and what is going on?
Yeah, Ricardo, I'm not able to see you at the moment, but hopefully you can hear and see me clearly. Like Mariah just said there, I was quite surprised by the comments after the game. You think about Andrew Russell, when he won the player of the match, he said words like, I hope he continues to travel around with the team this season because he's such an asset, and continuing to talk about his legacy. So instantly I thought maybe this was it. But having spoken to a representative from the team this afternoon, it's been confirmed that Dwayne Bravo is not retired, and we very likely will see him again at some stage this season. I think the plan and the rationale behind the big celebrations last night was because it's a back-to-back and you played the night before as well as tonight. I think they don't know if his body can necessarily hold up for 2 back-to-back days. So what they did was honor him at Queen's Park Oval, where there would be a sellout crowd. Obviously, that's his first home ground, being that he's a Parkite. So you got the opportunity to celebrate him then, not knowing if he would play tonight. And then I think whilst they go to Brian Lara Cricket Academy next week, I think he'll also have a farewell there as well. So from what I've been told, it is not the final time we'll see Dwayne Bravo on the field this season, and he will come back at some stage. But it could be the final time we see him at the Queen's Park Oval in a TKR jersey.
Yeah, and the celebrations were quite fitting last night as well. Starting from the players, his teammates, the owners of the Knight Riders franchise, and then at halftime, if I may use that term for cricket, he was taken around in a vehicle where he was signing autographs and, essentially having a great time with the fans. It really was beautiful to see, wasn't it?
Definitely, and I think it was a legacy that had to be celebrated in that way. When we reflect on the career of Dwayne Bravo, the 2-time winning captain, of course, then went to the Patriots, that's with TKR, went to Patriots, won with them as well. It's been amazing to think about the legacy he's had on the CPL, and then when I extend it to the world and how he's revolutionized T20 bowling, thinking about being probably the first person to actually execute the wide Yorker and be a proponent of the wide Yorker. And now delivery we see almost every over in a T20 game. His just variety of skill set. I think in T20 cricket, when we thought about the Yorker or short ball, we didn't know that there could be this many variations maybe 10, 15 years ago. So the impact he has had on the game, and it's not only the T20 game. I mean, he's played Test cricket. He's won games for the West Indies in all 3 international formats. So he definitely deserves to be celebrated. I keep saying this. I think I said it on the show a bit earlier this season. I really hope that he remains within the CPL system, whether it's with TKR, with another side, or with the league. He has so much to share. You're seeing it with young bowlers who come up under him. I think a perfect example is someone like a Dominic Drakes, who was at his best in 2021 when Bravo was standing at mid-off. So I think I want to see him continue to give back, which I know he always does, but he's got so much to share. And hopefully, as a West Indian cricket base, we can go invest in him and we can dive into him a bit more to learn and gain his wisdom.
Yeah, and one more on Bravo. He did get spanked around a little bit last night, 1 for 41 from his 4 overs, but importantly, he did get that wicket to celebrate, and it was just great to see how all his teammates rallied around him after that wicket, and they all did the champion dance.
Yeah, it was definitely, they all had on 47 as well. It was a great night, I think, and fitting that he ended with the wicket as well. TKR have got some decisions to make because I still think personally, and he wasn't at his best last night, but even watching him bowl 120 kilometers per hour, Ricardo, I still think the guy's skill set and the ability to execute and force guys to do exactly what he wants, guys meaning batters, I think he might be in one of the better death bowling categories in the tournament when we talk about guys who can execute in the last 5. But TKR have got a decision to make because they brought in Chris Jordan, who also has been very impressive in the last 5 overs. They've got Terrence Hines, who they continue to invest in with a bit of variety and that slingy action. So they'll have to sit down and think, is he in our best 11? I personally still think so, and it'll depend on how his body's holding up, etc. But last night, and the way he got that wicket and the setup as well, the use of one side of the field, it was great to see from a champion bowler and a great person, a representative of West Indies cricket.
Yeah, and so much of last night's game was centered around Dwayne Bravo and his, let's call it, Queen's Park Oval farewell. But the match itself was brilliant, wasn't it? It was a terrific contest between bat and ball. Some would say a low-scoring contest, but so thrilling.
Definitely, and I want to credit the Guyana Amazon Warriors as well. One of the reasons why I think this Amazon Warriors side is so strong is their bowling attack. And this is a bowling attack that lacked Imran Tahir last night, remember. But the way that, first of all, they battled back from 75 for 6 when Romario Shephard came in to get to 150 from that position, I thought in itself was extremely impressive. I still expected TKR with a wet ball with small boundaries. I expected them to cruise to that total. But credit to the Amazon Warriors again, because they just continue to show, even last night without Moti, they were without Imran Tahir and Moti, who have been the chief destroyers for them. It was their seamers. No, Romario Shephard didn't bowl an over last night, and still they took this game to the wire. So it really is a positive for the Warriors. I think the only downside for them is that they've now lost to the Royals and TKR, which makes maybe that top 2 qualification a bit more challenging for them. They've got home games to come as well, but they have got a really strong core, and what they may have on a team like TKR is that chemistry and that togetherness, which I think you've seen the nucleus be retained from last season. And just watching them around the hotel, at the ground, they are such a close-knit unit. So I think from that angle, they've got a lot to be happy and positive about. But TKR getting that win last night could be significant when we think about the top 2 finishing, and it could be between those 3 teams.
Yeah, and of course we will continue to follow to see how that turns out. Nikhil, you briefly touched on Romario Shephard. He was missing for a lot of the games because of a toe injury that he told me he picked up when he was practicing. It was good to see him back and, of course, get that 51 not out with the bat.
Definitely, Mariah. It's interesting how they see Romario Shephard. Now, I would love to get Ricardo's take on this as well. Last night they sent Gurkesh Moti in. Me personally, I would have liked to see Shephard go in a bat in that position. However, the other perspective is you don't want to expose him against Salam Keel Narayan because he's had his weaknesses against spin. And some may argue it was a smart move because look what ended up happening. 41 off his last 17 balls, completely destroyed the pace and made sure that they got to 150 plus. Personally, though, I just think he's good enough of a player for them to start trusting him a bit more. I think the same thing about Fabian Allen as well. But there are times he gets out to spin. So it's a double-edged sword, but again, it just speaks to the evolution of Romario Shephard, the batter, and I think they need his bowling as well. But if this guy is doing this consistently, he's right up there with the best all-rounders in world cricket. Batting that way, striking the ball like that, and being able to take pace off and execute back end.
Yeah. Ricardo, he wanted your opinion, and then I'll ask my next question.
No, I was just going to say to Nikhil, I wonder as well as if the fact that he was out of the system, meaning playing matches for a little while and just returning to the setup, Gurkesh Moti has been playing and been in relatively good form, and they probably felt as well that given the situation, as you pointed out, you want Romario Shephard at the back end, where at that stage you sort of have nothing to lose and he can just go. He doesn't have to think too much about how to play necessarily. So, but as you said, sometimes these decisions can be really difficult, and maybe the way they went last night worked out in favor of the Guyana Amazon Warriors.
And I think it was amazing to see both guys who've missed a series of games come in and strike the ball like that. Russell and Shephard, I mean, they've missed the last 4 games, and to walk in and be able to bat in that way is just a testament to their talent, really.
Yeah, and since we're picking our brains and asking about some of the decisions that were made, what about Moeen Ali? Didn't you expect him to bowl some more?
To be honest, he bowled that over to Pooran. It was really good. And again, this is the fear that Pooran could put into your mind. I understand why Shea Hope didn't want to go to him, because whether it's the ball spinning away or in, Pooran is just so good against the spin. One decision I thought we would have seen, and hindsight is always 20/20, but that Nathan Souto over where Russell hit the 3 sixes, both Russell and Tim David have had their issues against the leg spin, but Moti with his variance of pace and his experience especially that it was South's first game, I thought Shea would have leaned there. But I know it's easy for people to reflect now that they've lost and said, well, Moyne didn't bowl out, Moti didn't bowl out. But to be fair, Kimo Paul dismissed Pooran, so you have to sort of see both sides of it. The Moyne one, I thought, was always tough when Pooran was dismissed, and I thought he would have gone Moti a bit earlier to Russell as soon as he came to the crease. But he went with the pace, wet ball, small boundaries. You understand why. It didn't fire for him on that night.
Yeah, and of course, when Andre Russell is at his very, very best, there are few who can stop him, and he was brilliant last night. Nikhil Uttamchandani, as usual, thank you very much for putting context to so much of what happened in that game last night, including confirmation and what really happened with Dwayne Bravo, and that we will likely see him again for the remainder of the CPL. Thanks very much, man.
Thanks, Ricardo. Cheers.
All right, Nikhil Uttamchandani. All right, it's now time for our Angostura Play of the Day.
First step, and he's bowled him. What a jaffa! Well, they needed something here, the Warriors, and it's come in the form of Moeen Ali. First ball and a wicket.
Wow, such high skill, drift and turn from Moeen Ali, right on the money. Watch this ball, drifts in, and then just grips and rips away from Narayan. He's nowhere near it. He's playing down the Piccadilly line, and it's come on the Vauxhall line.
Yeah, I must really credit the producers for this one, Mariah. They got it spot on today, and part of the reason I love that moment, definitely an Angostura Play of the Day, is because I was watching it and I thought to myself, Sunil has been Narayaned by Ali.
I know, but I wanted to see Andre Russell 6. And that joke was not funny, just saying.
It was. What you wanted to see what?
An Andre Russell 6 in the Play of the Day.
No Andre Russell 6 is better than that delivery.
That's what I wanted to see for my Play of the Day.
You can see it, but it won't be the Angostura Play of the Day.
Did you have a part? Do you have a part in the daily selection of this?
No, I don't. Zero. I see them for the first time.
A 6 would have made me happier. Just saying. I love to see 6s.
Your sister is a bowler, and for you to say that, I feel as if it's a disrespect to the bowling fraternity.
You just twist this entire thing around. That's what he does, viewers. I just like 6s. It has nothing to do with my sister. Oh. Ricardo, just take it away, please, cause.
Okay. All right. So we have more CPL cricket coming up tonight, by the way. The Trinbago Knight Riders will be looking to secure their playoff spot tonight. Yes, they host my team, the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons, who are looking to keep their playoff hopes alive. They must win. The action bowls off at 7 p.m. Eastern Caribbean time. That's 6 p.m. in Jamaica, live on SportsMax, and it comes up immediately after the SportsMax Zone.
Marshall is a champion, Bungie is a champion, Pollard is a champion, Lara is a champion, Gale is a champion. Don't forget, Michael Jordan, Obama a champion, Mandela a champion, Serena a champion, Wendy a champion, Shelly and a champion, 958, Bolt a champion.